everybody. Welcome to Ascari at Home. My name is John Sinopoli. I'm the executive chef and co-owner of the Ascari Hospitality Group. We're really excited today to present to you our collaboration with Stratus Vineyards. We have two really special wines that you're able to drink this evening with the food we've prepared. One is a pre-released unfiltered Chardonnay. The other is a library release of a 2010 Stratus Red. In tasting these, preparing for the pairing of the menu, it was really interesting to see that not only was the quality and elegance of Stratus so apparent in both wines, but both wines are filled with a lot of surprises. And so it was really fun to pair the food, really inspiring. We've paired some lobster and some smoked duck confit this evening for the meat course, and some braised fennel and brioche encrusted cauliflower for the vegetarian option. Okay, we're gonna show you what's inside your box, and then we're gonna get in the kitchen and get cooking. Let's get started. Okay everyone, we're here with the box we've sent you home. I'm just gonna walk you through all the ingredients so you understand what they're all for and what you have in your box. Let's start with the appetizer. So we have our lobster salad. We've got your butter poached lobster in this container here. We've got your Napa cabbage and celery root slaw here. With that slaw, you'll have a poblano crema that goes on the bottom of the plate. We've got some Maldon salt, which you'll be using throughout the meal. You've got your celery and mint salad here, a little bit of pink peppercorn for garnish, and a chiffonade of fresh mint. That's your appetizer, so let's move that to the side. For the main course, you'll all receive smoked duck leg. Now, of course, you guys will have 2 pieces of lobster, 2 duck legs. We're just gonna be cooking one for you this afternoon, so ours are packaged individually. We've got your jus for the duck, some sunchoke chips as your garnish. We have some braised shiitake mushrooms, a green parsnip puree, that'll go on the bottom. And then we have your lentil du puy, already pre-cooked and ready to go. And in the box, you've got a couple pieces of parchment paper. This is for you to put on your tray, whether it's a cookie sheet or a fry pan at home, to put your product on. And then, of course, for dessert, we have our beautiful chocolate tart with smoked creme fraiche and Szechuan pepper. That is just open up and eat, no preparation required. Okay, now we're gonna take a look inside the vegetarian option. So instead of a lobster salad, we have a braised fennel salad. That's fennel braised in sambuca. You have the same celery and cabbage slaw. We have a poblano cream, celery and mint salad, fresh garnish of mint, and then we have some Maldon salt, which you'll use to season both courses. For the main course, you have your brioche encrusted celery steak. That's a roasted celery. You've got the braised shiitake mushrooms, a parsnip puree, green parsnip puree, a mushroom jus, and we have our fully cooked lentil du puy, and then some sunchoke chips for garnish. And of course, we've provided the parchment paper you'll need to roast the celery root on your cookie sheet or fry pan, whatever you're gonna be putting in the oven. And then for dessert, we have our beautiful chocolate tart. This is a chocolate tart with smoked creme fraiche and Szechuan peppercorn. This here will eat perfectly right out of the box, no preparation needed. It's ready to rock and roll. Let's get in the kitchen and start cooking. Okay, welcome to the kitchen here at Ascari on King Street. We're gonna be walking you through the reheat and assembly of the appetizer for the first course, just paired with this really beautiful, wacky, unfiltered Chardonnay. The first thing you need to do is make sure you've got some simmering water on the stove, really low simmer, and that for the main course that your oven is set to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Just to make sure your oven's preheating so that you can get everything ready to go. And a simmering pot of water. We're gonna drop the lobster and the braised fennel into the water. Now make sure that the water is not at a rumbling boil, because you don't wanna recook or overcook the lobster. We've already poached it in this beautiful butter sauce. All we really wanna do is get some heat through these 2 items. So if you're having the vegetarian course, you'll have 2 pieces of braised fennel and sambuca. If you're having the meat option, you'll have 2 pieces of lobster tail in butter comme ça. Okay, let's drop it in the water and then start getting ready the rest of the salad. So I'm gonna set my timer for 2 minutes, so I'm ready. And then we've got our celery root and cabbage slaw. We're gonna snip the bag open. and we're gonna put it in our medium-sized mixing bowl. Okay. And it's already dressed. You don't really need to do much more dressing of it. I find it easier to plate from the bowl. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there for a second. And now we're going to put our plate out and get ready to start going. So the first thing we're gonna do is take our poblano cream, and we're gonna put a beautiful large dollop, I'd say 2 teaspoons full, maybe a little more, in the middle of your plate. I'm just gonna spread that out nicely. Great. You may not need all of it. You may want a little extra for later on. And then we're gonna take our slaw. We're just gonna loosen it up a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the plate in a beautiful tall bundle that I'm gonna rest my lobster or my fennel on top of afterwards. Okay, all of that, wonderful. That's done. And then I'm ready to put my fennel or my lobster on top. And then we have alongside here our garnishes. The pink peppercorn is for the lobster. The Maldon salt is for everything at the end. We have a little fresh mint and our celery salad or salsa that's gonna go right on top of our lobster or our fennel. I'm gonna grab the lobster and fennel out now of the water. Okay, and I have just a little bowl to empty these contents into. I'm gonna snip with my bag. It's a little warm, but it shouldn't be anything too hot that it's gonna burn you. So our beautiful Sambuca braised fennel there. And our lobster, which we didn't let sit too long in the hot water because we don't want to ruin it, here with our gorgeous butter sauce. Okay. And now we're gonna take, for the lobster, if you got the lobster, you're gonna take this pink peppercorn, and we're gonna just give a little pinch of pink peppercorn onto that lobster with the sauce, okay? So I'm going to put my half lobster tail right on top. I'm gonna take some of this butter sauce and drizzle it around because you don't wanna waste that beautiful thing, okay? And then we're gonna take our Sambuca braised fennel for our other piece. You might just need to push that slaw down a little bit so it makes a bit of a divot. And then both of these are gonna get this gorgeous celery salad. It's really a beautiful marinated salsa when you think about it, right on top. And the same here. Beautiful, that's lovely. Look at that. And then we're gonna garnish with a little bit of Maldon salt on each, just a little finishing salt, always from up high so it spreads evenly. And then we've got some beautiful mint leaves. You may have some baby mint leaves like I've got, or we may have sent you like a chiffonade, like a very thin chiffonade of mint. I mean, the fresh fragrance of the mint is beautiful. It's gonna balance well with the heat. I mean, I loved this wine so much, and I was very excited to pair something super special like this with it. I think it's got an incredible racing acidity and some really interesting tropical fruit flavors, which I think is an awesome pair both with the Sambuca braised fennel and the butter poached lobster. Guys, you're ready to eat your first course. Enjoy. Next, we'll get on to preparing the main course. We are now ready to put together our main course. So for the people who had the meat option, you'll have 2 duck legs. You see I've put it on like a mini small cookie sheet. You can use the same. You can use an oven-proof fry pan at home. Use the parchment paper we've provided so it doesn't burn. And if you got the vegetarian option, you'll have your cauliflower steak and brioche here. And we're gonna put these in the oven now. The oven should be preheated to 375 degrees. And this will be about 18 to 20 minutes. This will be probably closer to 20 to 25 minutes, okay? So just set your timer and be ready. I'm gonna pop these in our oven right now. Okay, and I'm gonna begin preparing the rest of the dishes. I'm gonna get my plates ready for when I'm ready to plate. I've got my Maldon salt on the side to garnish. I have my Jerusalem artichoke chips here ready to go. And the rest of the plate here is your lentils and your braised shiitake mushrooms and your jus. So one is my duck jus, and of course the other one will be your mushroom jus. Those are the only two things different. And then the puree. So the jus and the puree go in the water. We don't need to do those yet because we're not ready. But what we're going to do is we're going to warm up our lentils and our mushrooms. So these are the two pans. I've got the mushrooms are going to go in this small fry pan. A small sauce pot works too, but I find the small fry pan is going to work a little bit better. And make sure you get all that liquid in there. And you're not going to want all this liquid on the plate, but you definitely are going to need it to warm everything through. So now we're going to put this on very low heat on the stove. And you're just going to gently warm that through. Now we're going to empty our lentils into this medium sauce pot. I like this sauce pot better than a fry pan because I find it'll stick less. You're not tempted to make it too hot. Again, the temperature should be kind of low and slow. These are already cooked. There's a little bit of liquid already included in here and a chiffonade of parsley. And once you get all this out and into the pot, okay, you're gonna get a spoon, give it a quick stir, and again get it on some low heat. Now, if you find it tends to start sticking and drying out, feel free to add a few tablespoons of water. All right. Okay. Now that I have those warming up, we're gonna drop our jus and our parsnip puree, which we've made green with a little bit of parsley, into our simmering water to warm through. These will take like 2 to 5 minutes max, okay? So make sure you're timing all this to come out in the end. All right, I'm just gonna give my mushrooms and my lentils a stir. And you just want to heat all those really gently through. You don't want to be on high heat at all. Everything that we've done is perfectly cooked and seasoned. All we really want to do is get a little bit of heat into it, get it hot for the plate, and make sure that everything's at peak temperature. Now, the stuff in the oven is you're actually kind of cooking. So the cauliflower steak inside the brioche is cooked, but we're baking that brioche crust around it. And then the duck confit is obviously already cooked in its own fat for many, many, many hours and then smoked. But what you're doing in the oven for that 20 minutes is not getting it hot to the bone and then crisping the skin. So make sure that your oven's at the right temperature. And if you're about 5 minutes away from being done and the skin doesn't look like it's bubbling, you might want to turn it up 10 or 20 degrees because every oven is a little bit different, okay? So now we're gonna go to the stove. We're gonna grab our items that are hot. We're gonna bring it here. We're gonna get ready to plate, okay? So you can see the mushrooms are simmering, steaming, looking good. Okay, and we're gonna set that to the side and that'll be one of the second things we plate. And that amount of liquid is good. You're not gonna use it all, but it's nice to have that there, okay? And my lentils are also looking good, okay? They're getting hot, they're steaming. I'm gonna put them back on for just another moment. And with a pair of tongs, I'm gonna remove my sauces from the water. Okay, I have my two jus, my mushroom and my duck. And I have my parsnip puree. And this here, we can just snip and pour right onto the plate, okay? It's a little bit hot, but if you give it a second after it's out of the water, it's probably cool enough to handle. Okay? And you're just gonna squeeze it out. And then we're gonna use our spoon to make it look nice. How beautiful, rich, and green that is. All right. And we're gonna use a spoon. And we're gonna spread that around in a beautiful circle. This puree is gonna add both earthiness and brightness. Little sweetness from the parsnip, a lot of brightness from the parsley. That's great. Okay, and now next is gonna be my lentils. So my lentils are now nice and hot. Oh, and they smell great. I love lentil du puy. Lentil du puy are, oh, I got a little bit of liquid here. I just want to wipe up from my bags. So lentil from France. It's a beautifully textured lentil. It doesn't pop and split and get mushy like other lentils. It really holds its own texture very, very well. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the middle and give it a little push down for both. So if you have the meat plate or the veg plate right now, nothing is different, everything's the same. The only two things that are different are the protein, so the cauliflower and brioche or the duck confit, and the jus. Everything else is the same, the mushrooms. Okay, and then I've got my mushrooms here, which we're gonna split evenly. And you're just gonna plate the mushrooms to one side so that you can lean either the duck or the cauliflower against it. If you get a little bit of this jus on the plate, that's fine. You don't need too much of it, but a little bit's okay. We have our beautifully reduced mushroom jus or duck jus on the side as well. Okay, put this to the side. So now we're ready to plate. I'm just gonna wipe my little mistakes off here. Beautiful. The jus are ready. The Maldon salt and the Jerusalem artichoke chips are ready. Now we're gonna go to the oven and see if our proteins are ready. So we have our duck is perfect and ready to go. Just gonna lean it right there on top of my mushrooms. Okay, and our cauliflower is beautiful and toasty. I'm just gonna grab this off of the plate. Oh, better hold the paper down. There we go, everything's super hot. I'm gonna lean it right there. You could cut this in half if you want, but I don't mind it as a whole encrusted brioche. It's so impressive looking. Then I have a trusty little sauce pot here, and I'm gonna pour my duck jus and my mushroom jus afterward into this pot. Just because I find it easier to sauce from a container like this than like out of a bag if I want to do it in a refined way. So we're going to take our sauce, which we've reduced and spiced, and just going to drizzle all around beautifully. We're going to moisten those lentils and create a little bit of more umami for the plate. And then I'm going to do the same with my mushroom jus. We've thickened this mushroom jus a little bit as well, so it's gonna have a similar texture to a meat jus, but of course, no gelatin, no meat, totally vegetarian, all right? We're gonna do the same. You're gonna drizzle this jus around so it mingles with the lentils and the puree and allows for a little bit of sauce for when you cut open that cauliflower and brioche so you can soak that up. So, last two things to do. We're gonna garnish with a little bit of Maldon salt to finish our plate. And we're gonna put some Jerusalem artichoke chips, crispy Jerusalem artichoke, which is a native vegetable to North America. And it's basically the root of the sunchoke plant, the sunflower. And it has a ton of umami, and it crisps up really well as a chip like this. It's gonna add a little crunchy texture. So there we have it, our two main courses with your 2010 Stratus Red. This Stratus Red has a ton of bright fruit. And honestly, if you leave it open long enough and decant it, you're gonna find that acidity is just gorgeous. And all the richness, umami, and all the fats, natural fats in this dish are gonna be cut beautifully by that acidity and pair super well with all that beautiful red, ripe fruit that's in that Stratus Red. Thanks for being part of it. Don't forget to finish your evening off with that gorgeous chocolate tart with smoked creme fraiche and Szechuan chili. We hope you've enjoyed your experience. Enjoy the wines. We're gonna head to the bar now, and Blair's gonna talk to you about the wines.
Evening, everybody. My name is Blair Bouchard. I'm the wine director for the Ascari Hospitality Group. A big thank you to our executive chef, John Sinopoli, for walking you through these stunning looking dishes here. We're so excited and proud to be partnered up with Stratus Vineyards for the early pre-release of their 2019 Unoaked Chardonnay, as well as this very excellent library release of the 2010 Stratus Red. Both of these wines show off the terroir and the winemaking style of Stratus Vineyards, harkening back to one of their biggest influences, Chateau Moussard of the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, who brings that French winemaking technique and prowess to the terroir of their locality. The library release of the 2010 Stratus Red absolutely shows that ageability, the maturation, as well as how much life is still in these glass. These are stunning wines, beautifully paired with the dishes in front of you. Other than that, get ready to tune in at 7:30 for the live Q&A with our executive chef, John Sinopoli, as well as Stratus winemaker, J.L. Grew, for a great little chat about what you have in front of you.